You're tuned in to Station Voicecast. Your voice in the dark, your signal in the silence. It's just after midnight. My coffee's still warm. The board lights are blinking like usual. Quiet night. Almost too quiet, if I'm honest. The kind of quiet that settles in your bones before it hits your ears. Earlier, we had a caller from Nashville going on about a raccoon breaking into her garage again. Good stuff. Harmless. That's what this hour is usually for. White noise to fill the gaps between the dark and the dawn. And yet, tonight, I don't know. There's something about the air. Something about the static between transmissions. Like it's holding its breath. But hey, maybe that's just the caffeine talking. Maybe I've been doing this too long. Or maybe it's just another quiet night in the middle of nowhere. Still, I've got that itch. You know the kind. Not in your head, but in your spine. We've got lines open. If you've got something strange to share, or just want to hear your voice cut through the quiet, call me. Let's ride this wave together. Welcome to the late shift. Got a call just now. Didn't expect it. Line 3 lit up. Private number. Nurse from County General. Didn't give a name. Said she wasn't supposed to be calling at all. Her voice cracked, like she hadn't spoken to anyone in hours, maybe days. She said, and I'm quoting here, "There were 6 deliveries tonight, 6 different mothers, 6 different rooms, but the babies, they all look the same." I paused. I asked if she meant similar. She didn't laugh, didn't even hesitate. Not similar, identical, same face, same birthmark, same birth weight. It's like they were photocopied. That's when I started paying attention. She said the doctors were trying to stay calm, but the pediatric wing was locked down. They told her to stop talking about it, to not mention anything. Of course, she did the opposite. That's how she ended up on my line. I asked if it could have been a mix-up. She said no. Different parents, different rooms, different times. Now I know hospitals have glitches, protocols get crossed, but 6 newborns with the same face on the same night? She hung up after that. Or maybe someone made her hang up. I don't know. But the line didn't just disconnect. It died. Static. Dead air. You're listening, right? Someone out there is listening. If you've heard something, anything like this, call me, because I've got a bad feeling this isn't an isolated call. 15 minutes after I mentioned the County General story on air, the phones lit up. First, it was a midwife from Buffalo, and then a paramedic from San Antonio, then someone claiming to be from a birthing center in Cape Town. Different voices, different accents, same story. They looked alike, 2 alike. I delivered 3 of them myself, exact same eyes. I thought I was going crazy. Some of them were whispering like they were being watched. Some were just numb, like they'd been carrying this for hours, days maybe, waiting to get it off their chest. I joked about it on air. I shouldn't have, but I did. Said something like, "Guess we've got a glitch in the baby matrix." Didn't get a laugh. Didn't even get a pity chuckle. Then one guy called in from Michigan. Said he worked in the records department. Birth certificates coming in with identical stats. Same length, same weight, same time of birth. But get this, different dates on the forms. It's like someone had backdated them. Like they were trying to blend in. We've got callers talking about identical birthmarks. Even identical first cries. Like a recording. Like the sound had been looped. Coincidence? I don't know anymore. I want to say yes. I want to dismiss it like I always do. Just radio noise, weird vibes, full moons. But something's off. And more people are feeling it. It's like a pattern forming in real time. And we're just starting to see it. I thought the earlier nurse call was the last of it. I thought maybe people would start settling down. But then she called back. Or maybe it was a different nurse. The voice was lower. Slower. She didn't introduce herself, didn't ask if we were live. She just started speaking. There are more now, not just 6, 24, all of them staring. I asked her what she meant. They don't cry unless someone's watching. They respond to eye contact. One of them smiled at me. I swear he recognized me, like we'd met before. I kept her on the line, asked if the hospital was still locked down. She said yes, but it wasn't the doctors or nurses locking the doors anymore. She said it was the parents. They're different too. Detached, quiet. It's like they've accepted something, like they knew this was coming. Her voice began shaking. Not with fear exactly. Something else. Recognition. They're not babies, she whispered. They're mirrors. That was the last thing she said. The line went dead. Again. Not disconnected. Cut. And now, I'm sitting here staring at the call board. No lights, no rings. Just the hum of the equipment and this sense that something is coming through the wires. If you're listening, don't turn the dial. We're not done. We've only just begun. Stay with me. Since that last call, something's changed. Not just here. Not just on this frequency. It's like something's moving beneath the surface of everything. A ripple turning tidal. It's been less than 2 days since the first report came in, since County General sounded the quiet alarm. But now it's everywhere. Hospitals from San Diego to Singapore are reporting the same thing. I've got nurses messaging me on encrypted apps, EMTs sending voice notes, doulas posting anonymously. All the babies look the same. Not kind of the same. Not family resemblance the same. Number exactly the same. Same wide-set eyes, same faint birthmark near the temple, same weight down to the ounce, same chilling silence before the first cry. At first, they thought it was regional, maybe a batch of manipulated fertility treatments gone wrong. Then it went national, then global. Time zones don't matter. Borders don't matter. Language doesn't matter. They're coming through in waves, hospital by hospital, each newborn a perfect replica of the last. I pulled up the reports. I cross-checked the timestamps. There's no sequence, no pattern of spread. It's simultaneous, like someone hit copy-paste on an entire generation of humanity. I don't know how far this goes yet, but it feels like we've crossed some invisible threshold, and there's no going back. If you've seen them, if you're holding one right now, you're not alone. And maybe that's the scariest part of all. The phones haven't stopped. Not once. Every time I end a call, 2 more take its place. Just a few minutes ago, we had a mother from Melbourne. She couldn't stop crying. Said she delivered her baby yesterday. And when the nurse handed her the child, something inside her froze. He didn't feel real. Not because he didn't move. He did. But it was like I already knew him. Like I'd held him before. Another call came in from Warsaw. A midwife who's worked births for over 20 years. She said this was the first time she's ever felt afraid of a newborn. They watch you. They don't blink as much. And when they do blink, it's too slow. Like it's learned behavior. From Cape Town, an exhausted father described how his twins, born minutes apart, are not twins at all. They're the same baby. Same face, same skin, same birthmark, same everything. When I held them both, it felt like one was a mirror, but there was no reflection, just duplication. What's haunting is how calm these voices are. They're not panicking. They're resigned. Like the reality has already started to rewrite itself, and they're simply trying to speak it out loud before it settles in. If this is happening to you, if you've seen this, keep calling, keep talking, keep proving we're not crazy, because that's what they're going to try next. They're going to tell us it's nothing and speak of the devil. Just now, we got a pre-recorded statement forwarded from a syndicated medical program, a panel of scientists from the Global Pediatric Coalition. Their message? There is no cause for alarm. We are seeing localized genetic repetition due to environmental mutation factors. The visual similarities are statistically rare, but not impossible. You hear that? Not impossible. They said this like we're talking about kids showing up to school in the same shirt. The statement was flat, scripted, not a single stammer, not even a breath out of place, just a clean, sterilized PR bandage for a gaping existential wound. But here's the thing. They didn't show the footage. They didn't show the babies. Not one verified image. Every hospital they cited has since shut down online access. Even public birth records are being delayed for internal review. And let's be honest, when was the last time the scientific community agreed on anything this quickly? I've spoken to too many people, heard too many firsthand accounts. Something's happening, and this press statement? It's damage control. We've been told not to panic before, during floods, pandemics, blackouts. But this isn't about infrastructure. This is about replication and silence. And what comes after both? I couldn't let it go. After the official statement hit, I started digging. Open source hospital records, time-stamped birth announcements, archived radio logs from other local stations. Something didn't add up. Every hospital reporting identical births filed their birth records at the same hour. Not same day, same hour. Time zone adjusted. It all points to one universal timestamp, 3:11 a.m. GMT. And get this, each record contains a field-marked case flag, usually used for tracking complications. Every identical birth so far was flagged under the same internal code, ECHO-9. I called one of the hospitals, posing as a journalist, got transferred, then the line went quiet. No hold music, no voice, just static for 9 minutes straight. When the static finally stopped, a voice whispered, "It's not illness, it's insertion." And then, click, line gone. I'm not saying I know what that means. I'm just telling you what happened. I don't think this is a fluke. I think we're watching something deliberate, coordinated. And if the timestamps are accurate, then it didn't start with one baby. It started with all of them. I brought a guest on air, Dr. Elias Morrow, private geneticist out of Toronto. He'd been listening and he reached out anonymously. Sounded exhausted, paranoid. His first words, "It's not a mutation. It's a replication model. Precision layered DNA, engineered symmetry. This isn't natural." I asked him to clarify. He went quiet for a second. "It's a seed system, auto-propagating. We're not looking at evolution. We're looking at deployment." And then dead air. Not static this time. Just silence. 10 full seconds. Then a brief, high-pitched tone, too fast to catch, spiked across the frequency. And the line dropped. I tried calling him back. Voicemail full. Email bounced. His name has already been pulled from the university database. No record. Gone. Less than 2 minutes later, the private line rang. The one no one knows exists. Not listed, not published. I answered. No introduction, just breathing. Then a voice, not deep, not robotic, just exact, measured, artificially calm. "Stop tracing. You're inside the signal now." I asked who they were. The response came fast. "We're already listening. You've heard us before." Click. And now I'm sitting here wondering if I ever stopped hearing them. This is VoiceCast, and we're still live. Unless we're not the ones doing the broadcasting anymore. There's something hiding in the static. I didn't realize it at first. Thought it was just noise, interference from a weak tower, maybe too much caffeine, warping my ears. But no, it started last night. I opened my inbox and saw them. Emails I never subscribed to, all with the same subject line. Echo confirmed. No sender, just a string of characters and numbers. The first email was empty, just a single PDF attachment. Password protected. I almost deleted it. But then came the second. This one wasn't empty. It had a message. They were warned in 1997. You weren't supposed to see this. I opened the file, used the name of this station as the password, and it worked. Inside were heavily redacted documents. Headers marked C, DC, and USAMRIID. A project name repeated throughout, MESSIAH. The redactions weren't clean. Some fragments slipped through, genetic compliance, multi-nation test pool, and this one, postnatal identity convergence. That last one kept echoing in my mind, postnatal identity convergence. Then I started seeing them online, half-scrubbed forum posts, screenshots from whistleblower boards before the threads got purged, all referencing the same phrase. Hospitals linked to this supposed program, specific locations, same ones mentioned by my listeners. It's all starting to bleed together. Official denial on one end, anonymous leaks on the other, and in the middle, the babies. Too perfect, too consistent, too many. Whatever's happening, it's not random. It's not nature, it's design. And it's been coming for a long time. Tonight, I got a direct message. No subject, no greeting. Just a link, dead drop server, temporary file, one download. I clicked. Of course I clicked. What I saw, I still don't know how to explain. But I'm going to try. Because you need to hear this. It was a series of internal memos, stamped with CDC headers, military acronyms, and one repeated phrase, Project MESSIAH. The full name, Multinational Embryonic Standardization Strategy for Integrated Adaptive Humanity. Sound like word salad? It's meant to. It's camouflage. Bureaucratic noise to cover something far worse. The first memo was dated 2003. It outlined theoretical models for synchronizing developmental outcomes in newborns across ethnic, genetic, and geographic lines. Said it was a response to increasing societal fragmentation, a preventative measure for global unity. The next file was from 2011, a test batch labeled Beta Genesis, conducted in undisclosed clinics, all infants monitored until age 2. Results: rapid linguistic adaptation, unusually low emotional volatility, identical biometric drift curves. They were proud of it. They were measuring sameness like it was success. But then there was a third file, red stamped, terminated. No explanation, just a single handwritten note. Containment failed. Echoes exceeded thresholds. Echoes. That word again. The last item in the drop was a photo, black and white, grainy, a lab room, rows of bassinets, every baby staring straight into the camera. Their faces, the same ones you've all been describing, identical, unblinking, and scrawled in pen across the bottom of the photo. We buried it in plain sight. We made you call it progress. This wasn't a glitch in evolution. It was a program. And it never stopped. After I aired the report, after I read those memos live, something happened. Line 4 lit up. That line doesn't ring anymore. It was disabled years ago. Private, internal, but it rang. And I answered. The voice was masked, digitally distorted. I couldn't tell if it was a man or woman, young or old. "You're getting close," it said. "But you're only seeing one layer." I asked who they were. That doesn't matter. What matters is what they're preparing for. They said the births are not natural occurrences. They're not mutations. They're deliveries, strategic, timed, controlled. I asked what Project MESSIAH was really meant for. The voice said, it wasn't about saving us. It was about replacing us. I heard typing on the other end. Then a file sent through my board system. I didn't even know it could receive files. Before I could ask more, the voice whispered, "This isn't just science. It's installation. And the next phase is already here." Click. Gone. I opened the file. It was a hospital patient log. 12 infants, all unnamed. Designations only. Unit 9B through 9M. All born within 3 seconds of each other. All matching biometric profiles, and all flagged as dispersed. It was just after 2 a.m. when I got the link. No name, no message, just the subject line. Echoes never sleep. I opened it. What played was grainy, time-stamped footage, archived military records, likely never meant to see daylight again. Early 2000s. Interior laboratory rows of steel cribs, men in medical fatigues, infants laid out like inventory. At first it looked like standard neonatal testing, until you notice the tags. Not names, not even numbers, just designations. E1, E2, all the way through E40. All the babies. Exact copies. Identical profiles. Clones. One of the men narrating off-camera mentioned Phase 3, synchronous behavioral induction. They weren't just cloning, they were trying to sync them. Thoughts, movements, reactions. The next cut showed one child blinking, and all 40 followed within milliseconds. Then the lights flickered. One baby started crying. The rest followed like a wave, not random, not reactive, orchestrated. The footage abruptly cut to a black slide with white text. Trial Epsilon terminated. Neuraloop contagion suspected. No follow-up, no explanation, just a note in the corner. Operation shuttered, data archived. And yet, somehow, here we are, decades later, watching it all unfold again. Only this time, it's not behind a fence, not in a base, not in a lab. It's in your hospitals, in your homes, and the trial, it's not a trial anymore. I got a call from someone who said they used to work inside the project. Wouldn't give a name. Didn't need to. You could hear it in his voice. Years of silence weighing down every syllable. He said they had a master profile, a genetic template harvested from one subject back in 1999. Unnamed, unknown origin, but perfect. Genetically consistent, neurologically stable, emotionally neutral. We weren't supposed to copy it, just study it. But funding dried up, and someone saw potential. He paused. I didn't speak, just listened. The samples were frozen, locked away in a vault. No authorized access since the early 2000s, but I've seen the scans. I've seen the sequences. Then came the words, I'll never forget. The babies being born today, they match. Exactly, down to the base pair. He said there's no way this could happen naturally. No mutation would ever yield precise duplication across thousands of births. Then, softer, this isn't evolution. This is repetition. He hung up, left me with a file, sequence data, verified, time-stamped, labeled Genome Archive number 13A. I don't know who the original was, but they're everywhere now. They're wiping it. All of it. Images, videos, birth records. Every trace of the identical babies, scrubbed. A listener messaged in real time. She uploaded a side-by-side photo of her child, and 2 others posted online. All identical. For a moment, it was there. Then, 4:04. Gone. Another caller said his entire hospital's birth archive vanished mid-shift. No explanation. Just a message on screen. File pending verification. Even cached pages. Erased. Metadata overwritten. It's not just deletion. It's surgical removal. They're erasing the evidence as fast as it's being noticed. And if they can do that to images, what happens when they start rewriting memory? I've been calling hospitals all night, asking questions, looking for someone, anyone, willing to talk. But the lines are dead. Not busy, not forwarded, dead. And for the few that still ring, I get transferred. Put on hold. Then the call cuts. One listener said their hospital's PR rep quit on air during a press conference, said she couldn't keep pretending it's all normal. Now maternity wards are being locked down. Armed security posted at entrances. No one in, no one out except staff. What are they hiding in there? Or what are they protecting us from? A package came in, no return address, brown envelope. Inside, a photograph, a baby's face, blank stare. You already know what it looked like. Under the photo, a hospital wristband. No name. Just a code, Unit 13. A, date of birth, tomorrow. Stamped underneath in red ink, distributed. This isn't theoretical anymore. They know where I am. And they're sending them out. The voicemails have started piling up. And they all sound the same. Not in the words, they vary, but in the tone, the pause before speaking, the quiet, shaking breaths, the sense that something has cracked inside. One mother said, "I held her. I fed her. I watched her sleep. But I knew she wasn't mine." Another woman from Des Moines left a message I can't stop replaying. She said she tried everything to convince herself. Looked at old ultrasounds, family photos, birth videos. But when I look in her eyes, I don't feel warmth. I feel observation. Some mothers sound numb, others hysterical. One just whispered, "I love my baby." I do, but I don't know who she is. There's no textbook for this, no diagnosis that covers it. They're calling it postnatal confusion or dissociation, but that's not what this is. This isn't about hormones. This is about instinct. Something ancient, buried deep inside these women, is sounding an alarm that logic can't override. They know. Not because they read the reports, not because they heard this broadcast, because something in them recognizes the lie. And now that lie is sleeping in their cribs, smiling in their strollers, holding out tiny hands, and waiting. I don't usually play raw recordings on air. There are rules, filters, edits. But tonight I want you to hear it exactly as I did. This was sent in by a woman from Albuquerque. She didn't leave her name, just an audio file. It starts with a soft voice, calm, controlled. "He watches me. Every time I move, he moves. Every time I pause, he pauses. But that's not the strange part." There's a pause. You hear the clock ticking in the background. "He doesn't blink. Not the way babies blink. Not at all, sometimes. For minutes. Like he doesn't need to." She starts to cry. Softly. Not out of fear. Out of exhaustion. Like someone who's been pretending for too long. I tested it, shined a light, clapped. He didn't flinch. He just stared. Like I was the subject. And he was the scientist. Then there's silence. And finally, one more whisper. They're not learning how to be human. They're waiting to see if we remember how. That's when the file ends. No static, no click. Just an absence. I know people will say it's paranoia, maternal delusion, sleep deprivation. But too many stories are starting to sound the same. And too many mothers are terrified to say out loud what they already know. Deep down, this is not their child. You won't see ads. You won't hear announcements. But they're opening up everywhere. Hospitals are quietly launching something called re-identification counseling centers. The phrasing sounds clinical, helpful, neutral. But listen closer. These aren't lactation clinics. These aren't for postpartum depression. They're for mothers who refuse to bond with their newborns. A listener from Oregon described her intake process. She was asked to describe her baby's personality. Then the nurse asked her to rate her attachment success on a 1 to 10 scale. When she hesitated, the nurse checked a box and smiled too wide. "You qualify for the realignment phase." She left immediately. What's the realignment phase? No one knows. There's no documentation online. Forums discussing it vanish within hours. Some say it's therapy. Others say it's hypnosis. But whatever it is, it's not meant to help them know their baby. It's meant to make them accept what they already know isn't. I'll say this now. If your hospital asks how well you recognize your child, don't answer. We talk a lot about mothers, about maternal instinct, but fathers feel it too. Tonight we got a call I'll never forget. He said his name was Tom. His voice was low, strained, like each word was being pried out of his throat. "I don't think he's mine. I don't mean biologically, I mean fundamentally." He went on to explain how things changed after the birth. Not suddenly, but in waves. His wife grew distant, stopped calling the baby by name. Tom tried to hold it together, told himself it was just stress, adjustment. But then one night he sat in the nursery and just watched. He was staring at the ceiling, not blinking. Then, I swear, he turned his head and looked at me like he'd been waiting. Tom's voice cracked then. You could hear it, like glass splitting just beneath the surface. I whispered his name. He smiled. But it wasn't joy. It was recognition, like he was acknowledging me. Tom's wife left last week. Said she couldn't do it anymore. Said Tom was scaring her. But I'm not crazy, he said. I wish I was crazy. He ended the call with one line. I can't get out of my head. He's not growing. He's adapting. Then he hung up. The exodus has started. Quietly, desperately. I've gotten emails, voice messages, even a handwritten letter. Families packing up in the middle of the night. Leaving cities, ditching phones, avoiding hospitals. They're not conspiracy theorists. They're not unstable. They're terrified. One mother said she pretended to bring her baby in for a routine checkup, but instead walked out through a fire exit. Hasn't been back since. Another father bought an RV. Drives a different route every night. Keeps his baby off grid. No records. No digital trail. They're not hiding the babies. They're hiding from what the babies might become. There's even talk of underground adoption networks, places where people trade natural children for a safe harbor. It sounds insane, I know, but the panic is real. The fear is real. Because what do you do when you realize you've brought home something that knows more about you than you do about it? And worse, what if it's only pretending not to understand? The last call of the night came in at 3:03 a.m. I almost didn't answer. I was about to sign off. But something in me knew. A woman's voice. Software. Measured. She talked to me tonight, she said. I asked her to repeat it. My daughter, or the one who looks like her. She explained how she was rocking her baby to sleep, just like always. A lullaby on repeat. And then, without warning, the child opened her eyes and spoke. One word, one phrase, perfectly clear, perfectly calm. I am many. The woman didn't scream, didn't panic. She just froze. She asked what she meant, but the baby had already closed her eyes again, breathing slow. She thought maybe she imagined it, a sleep-deprived hallucination. But then she opened the baby monitor app on her phone. There were 10 devices connected. She only owned one. All were named the same thing. Unit 13A. Her voice cracked then. She said, It's not just her. There are more. And they know each other. I think they've always known each other. I stayed on the line with her until the silence took over, until the static returned. And now I'm here, alone, speaking to the dark. If you're still listening, we are not imagining this. We are not confused. We are not broken. We are witnesses. And we've seen what's coming. We got a cease and desist today. It arrived by courier, no postmark, no return address, no formal sender, just an envelope with the words, immediate compliance required. Inside, a typed letter on unmarked paper. You are hereby ordered to cease all broadcasts relating to the identical births occurring across national medical facilities. Continued coverage will be considered a violation of federal compliance statutes. There was no letterhead, no contact information, just a phone number scribbled in red at the bottom. I called it. A man answered. Didn't say hello, didn't give a name. He just said, "We are not asking again," and then he hung up. I should be scared. Maybe I am, but here's the thing. If they're sending threats, that means the signal's reaching people. It means they're listening. So no, I won't stop. I won't turn this mic off. You can shut down my station, but I'll still speak. Because this isn't just about what's being born. It's about what's being hidden and who's doing the hiding. So to whoever's listening, whoever sent the warning, I hear you. Now listen to me. You're too late. The truth's already out, and it's multiplying. About an hour ago, I received a file, encrypted, no sender, The subject line read, "Do not broadcast." So naturally, I'm broadcasting it. It was an audio file, just under 2 minutes, recorded inside what I can only assume is a classified military facility. The first 30 seconds, just ambient hum. Fluorescent lights, faint footsteps, low mechanical noise. Then, muffled cries. Dozens, hundreds, impossible to tell. Infants, layered over each other. Slightly out of sync, like an echo, without a source. A woman's voice cuts in, whispering into what sounds like a lapel mic. Chamber 4 full, identicals confirmed, no vocal deviation. Testing neuroresonance in progress. There's a sharp tone, like a medical scanner initializing. Then, nothing. The babies stop crying, all of them. What follows is 22 seconds of perfect silence. Then, alarms, shouts, metal clanging. The woman screaming, "They're reacting to the tone! They understand it!" The feed ends in static. I've sent the file to multiple people, mirrored it, duplicated it. If they come for me, it's already too late. And if this was just one facility, how many more are out there? How many chambers? How many echoes? They're not just studying these children. They're responding to something they don't control. And that should terrify every single one of us. This morning, 3 more cities went into silent lockdown. No press conferences. No televised orders. Just an automated emergency tone, followed by curfew notices scrolling across public screens. Hospitals were the first to fall under restricted access. Entire maternity wings sealed off. Reports of new mothers being escorted out of the building while their children remained behind. I received a call from someone in Chicago. Works maintenance at a level 2 medical center. Said he walked into the wrong hallway and saw men in black uniforms wheeling cribs down a corridor he didn't know existed. No ID tags, no hospital badges. When he asked where they were going, one of them said, "Out of classification range, not for public exposure." That's what the babies are now. Classified objects. Emergency rooms are backed up. People with real medical issues being turned away. Entire blocks cordoned off under the pretext of a bioanomaly risk. But no one's sick. There's no outbreak, no virus. Just rows of cribs behind military-grade glass. Whatever this is, it's not about safety. It's about control. And whatever's behind those sealed maternity doors, they don't want us to see it. You've heard whispers. So have I. But now we have proof. A rogue journalist, he goes by the name Graywire, sent me an audio clip he recorded inside what he claims is a government-run containment nursery. He says it's buried beneath a decommissioned hospital outside St. Louis. He got in posing as a systems repair tech. Said security was tighter than anything he'd ever seen. And here's what he recorded. The clip begins with soft humming, industrial vents, then a subtle clicking, like biometric sensors activating, then footsteps, and a voice, a woman, speaking softly but firmly. Initiate visual check, chamber 9. A second voice responds, younger, nervous, all subjects still in stasis, identical status unchanged, no movement detected. Maintain internal temperature at 87.4 degrees, no higher. Then a long pause, followed by this. Are we sure they're asleep? They don't sleep. They wait. What Graywire described to me after sending the file chilled me to the bone. He said the nursery held over 200 infants, each in a sealed glass chamber. No labels, no names, no parents in sight, just machines monitoring their vitals. He said they didn't cry. They didn't fuss. They just stared. Some even made eye contact with him. Directly. He said one of them followed his movement across the room without blinking, not with curiosity, but with recognition, as if it had seen him before. As if it remembered, this is happening beneath our feet, while we sleep, while we work, while we raise our children, and whatever they are. Whatever we've let grow in the shadows, they are no longer hidden. They are just waiting for us to catch up. They're silencing the signal, one frequency at a time, Earlier today, 3 major news networks went off air within minutes of each other. First, it was a looping emergency broadcast screen. Then, nothing. A journalist I've known for years sent me a message. Just 2 lines. Newsroom emptied, phone's gone. We're not allowed to say their names anymore. Then her account was wiped. Anchor feeds are frozen. Press sites redirect to maintenance pages. Social media accounts that posted baby photos from earlier this week, gone. Wiped. Vanished. It's a surgical blackout, and it's working. People are confused, disoriented, unsure what's rumor and what's reality. That's the point. Control the signal, and you control the story. Control the story, and you control the fear. Control the fear, and you never have to explain what you're hiding. So if this is the last time you hear me, let this be the record. They don't want you to see what's being born, not because it's unnatural, but because it's been planned, and because it's not a glitch in the world. It is the new world. We're not alone. For every signal they kill, 10 more rise. Pirate stations, ham radios, closed-loop frequency circles. There's a resistance forming, not with guns, not with riots, with voices, with memory, with proof. They call themselves the Recall Network. I've heard them. Scratchy, distorted broadcasts, bleeding through static at odd hours. They play survivor calls, leaked documents, intercepted audio from government bunkers. One station, read names. Names of newborns who've gone missing from public hospitals. Some replaced, some simply erased. Another aired a lullaby, subtle, soft, but slowed down, reversed. It contained coordinates. To what? I don't know yet. But someone's listening, and someone's still fighting. These signals aren't strong. They're fragile, like whispers across barbed wire. But they're real. And that's all we need. So if you lose this broadcast, if my voice ever goes silent, don't trust the silence. Find the others. Because the truth isn't gone. It's underground. We got a file tonight. Not a message. Not a recording. A frequency. Sent by a listener who said she intercepted it on her baby monitor. After midnight. When the monitor wasn't even on. We ran it through our system. Just white noise at first. But underneath, there's a pattern. We sent it to a neurospecialist who still answers calls. He ran it through a waveform analyzer. His response? This matches the neural oscillation of a dreaming infant. Exactly. Except this isn't human. It's synthetic. The signal aligns with every known child's EEG in the last 72 hours. Not close. Identical. It's not communication. It's synchronization. They're not learning to speak. They already are. We're just not hearing them clearly. Yet. Science is supposed to bring clarity, right? Answers, data, consensus. Not tonight. I've been watching the medical forums, the virology boards, the think tank panels, and they've splintered. No 2 explanations match. No one's even pretending they have this under control. Group A, mostly evolutionary biologists, say this is a spontaneous leap in development, a species-level adaptation, the human genome responding to environmental pressure by standardizing itself. One of them said, "It's nature's way of simplifying us for what's coming." I asked him what that meant. He didn't reply. Group B's louder. Geneticists, ex-military bioengineers, they say this is man-made. A global operation, weaponized cloning, a dormant design seeded years ago, now activated. One paper published, then immediately retracted, claimed the matching DNA sequences were too clean. No noise, no variation. Quote, "This is not evolution, this is execution." Then there's Group C. They're not popular, mostly rogue AI ethicists, fringe neurologists. They believe what we're seeing isn't biological at all, that the children aren't just genetically identical, but neurologically programmed. One researcher, fired last year from a defense contract, posted this before his account was deleted. What we're calling babies are neural vessels. wrapped in skin, coded to observe and imitate. We didn't birth them. We installed them. So here we are. 3 camps, 3 answers, all terrifying, none comforting. And the only thing they all agree on? Whatever this is, it's no accident. Classification. That's the word getting people fired right now. Labs around the world are refusing to certify these children as human. It's not because they don't breathe, not because they don't cry. They do all the things newborns are supposed to do, but every standard genetic marker shows anomalies, not mutations, not errors, precision. There's no random distribution of traits, no variance in brainwave activity, no biometric diversity. It's like someone printed humanity through a machine that doesn't understand randomness. One hospital submitted a report suggesting these children didn't gestate in normal timeframes. That internal development accelerated in the 3rd trimester, cells aligning themselves too efficiently. When the story leaked, that hospital was quietly closed for renovation. I spoke to a genetic archivist, one of the few left who still answers calls. She said this: "These children exist within human boundaries, but not from human origin. We've crossed into something else, something next, and we don't have a word for it yet." It was only a matter of time. The Vatican released a formal statement tonight, brief, measured, chilling. These children are not of divine order. They are many, and they are one. Immediately after, more than 40 major religious groups released their own interpretations. Some are calling them harbingers. Others are saying the quiet part out loud. The Antichrist has arrived, and he did not come alone. A monastic leader from Eastern Europe gave a rare interview this morning. He said the book of Revelations warned of a face worn by many, born without name, speaking in echoes. That's what the church is calling them now, the many-faced. What's disturbing is the sudden unity among factions that haven't agreed on anything in centuries. They're not just quoting scripture, they're revising it. One line repeated again and again across their broadcasts: "He who multiplies the image mocks the maker." I asked a priest. I've known since childhood what he thought. He looked tired, pale. We always imagined the Antichrist would rise. One voice, one figure, but what if he's not singular? What if his greatest trick is duplication? Dr. Rajiv El-Amin was a leading voice in the human genome mapping community. Published, respected, brilliant. Tonight, he's dead. He live-streamed a briefing from his private lab. Unfiltered, unsanctioned, unstoppable. He started calmly, explained the anomalies, the missing genetic drift, the uniform replication of non-coding regions, something never seen in biology. "This is not an error. This is structure," he said. "The children aren't identical by coincidence. They're synchronized, preloaded. Their brains light up in harmony, even across distance." Then he leaned forward, eyes red, hands shaking. We thought we were watching them learn, but I was wrong. He held up a sheet of brain scan data, dozens of identical waveforms, then whispered, "They are already learning, faster than we can measure." And then, without warning, he stepped off camera. A loud crash. The screen went black. No further uploads, no police reports, just silence. His website is offline. His name has already been scrubbed from multiple directories, but the message remains, and I've archived it in 10 places because he was right. They're not becoming us. They're studying how to replace us. I haven't slept in 3 nights. I keep the lights low, the door sealed, phone off. But tonight, someone knocked. Software, polite, not urgent. I froze. No one knows this building anymore. The station's been off the official map since 2009. I opened the door slowly. Just a crack. Enough to see a cardboard box on the step. Nothing else. No footprints. No car sounds. No person. Inside the box, a single baby blanket. Folded, clean. A photograph. One of the babies. Staring into the lens with that now too familiar expression. And a note, handwritten, neat. Unit 13A, delivery confirmed. There's no hospital tag, no ID, just a barcode. and the words, assigned to you. I haven't touched it. It's still sitting there, still watching me. And I swear it blinked when I didn't. I recorded it just to prove I wasn't losing my mind. I played it back on the board, my voice asking the baby a question, calm, controlled. Do you understand me? Then a pause and a reply. Same tone, same pitch, same cadence. Do you understand me? Only it wasn't an echo. It was too perfect, too deliberate. I asked another question, off script, spontaneous. What are you? And the baby answered, same voice, still mine. What are you? Not a trick of tech, no glitch. It didn't repeat what I said, it repeated what I meant. And now, listening back, I can't tell where I end and it begins. It didn't mimic me, it became me. And I think it's still speaking, even when I'm silent. It started as whispers. Schools considering temporary closures, citing staff shortages, security concerns. Then it escalated. Fast. This morning I received confirmation from 4 districts. All classes suspended, indefinitely. No end date, no remote learning plan, just silence. And it's not just here. The same headlines are showing up in Italy, Brazil, Japan. A global education shutdown with no formal explanation. A teacher from Minnesota left me a message. I stood in front of the class. I looked into their eyes. It wasn't fear. It was calculation. These weren't 5-year-olds learning to read. They were watching me like I was the experiment. She quit that afternoon. Another listener, a principal from Kenya, described how recess turned into synchronized silence. Dozens of children, identical in movement, watching the teachers blinking in unison. The final straw, a substitute teacher fainted mid-lesson after hearing a child say something in a language she didn't recognize. When the child was asked to repeat it, he just smiled. That smile, it's being reported again and again. Neutral, calm. Not joyful, not curious, just present. And suddenly the world realized we don't know how to teach them because teaching implies authority, guidance. But what happens when the student already knows where you're going? Or worse, when they let you speak just to observe your limits. And so the classrooms go dark. Not from failure, but from fear. Something's just shifted inside the home. I used to get messages from parents terrified of what they were seeing. Now, I get something else. Devotion, not love, not warmth. Reverence. I got a recording today, a mother's journal entry. She didn't know it would be shared, but I think she wanted it to be. He doesn't cry anymore. He doesn't ask for food. He just looks at me, and I bring it. Sometimes I pray before entering his room. Not to God, to him, just in case he's listening, just in case he disapproves. I've seen footage, parents kneeling by cribs, whispering mantras, lighting candles. One viral clip showed a father laying his hands on the baby's chest saying, "Forgive me for misunderstanding." Over and over. There are forms now, private ones, ritual suggestions, nighttime chants, instructions on how not to offend. Some parents have stopped naming their children altogether. They call them one. Echo. It. A caller just now said her sister refuses to speak in the baby's presence. Not out of fear, out of respect. We don't punish the children anymore. We obey them. And somehow this became normal. Not imposed, not forced. Something inside us surrendered. And I have to ask, is it love? Or is it submission dressed up to look like it? Where there's fear, there's a price. Underground networks are thriving, hidden in chat groups, encrypted servers, passed by whisper. They call them the natural registry. Unregistered infants, the old kind, born outside the hospital systems, hidden from scanners, uncoded. I've seen the listings. Guaranteed variants, Organic birth. Pre-signal DNA. One file showed a grainy photo of a crying newborn. The caption read, "She cries." Loudly. That's how you know. Of course, it's dangerous. Illegal. But desperate parents are paying fortunes, trading houses, moving across borders just to adopt a baby that blinks irregularly, and the forged documents, top quality. Birth records, hospital bans, even prenatal scans, fabricated to prove that the child is just normal. Whatever that means anymore. Meanwhile, black market midwives are disappearing. Raided, erased. One even turned up in a river with a tag sewn into her shirt. Deviation terminated. People are risking everything. Not because they hate the new children, but because they miss unpredictability. They miss imperfection. They miss difference. You can feel it in the neighborhoods now. There's a new kind of tension, not rich versus poor, not politics, something deeper, belief versus resistance. I got a call from a woman in Idaho. She said her street used to feel like family. Now it's split down the middle. One side leaves offerings at the doorstep every evening. They speak of the children with reverence, use phrases like the becoming, the unified, the shift. The other side, they've armed up, covered their windows, started drilling blackout shutters. They whisper about rebellion, about taking back what they lost. One man told me, "We're not against the kids. We're against what they've done to us." A woman responded, "They've saved us. You just don't recognize salvation when it doesn't look like a savior." In some towns, the divide has turned violent. One report said a family was firebombed after refusing to attend a celebration of sameness hosted by their local parenting group. Another story, quietly buried, mentioned a resistance leader found strung up in a playground. A note pinned to his chest, "We are one. You are out." People aren't arguing anymore. They're choosing worship or defiance, peace or individuality, and each side believes they're the only ones truly awake. It started as a fringe movement. One manifesto, published anonymously, titled "Unity Through Uniformity." Now it's a political force, the New Dawn Coalition. Their spokespeople are calm, measured, identical in posture, tone, vocabulary, no slogans, just a phrase repeated at every rally. We all become. Together. They don't run on promises. They run on alignment. Their platform, no more elections, no more difference, a single voice, a single face, a future with no fractures. And the scariest part, it's working. Poll numbers are vanishing from public view. Candidates are stepping down mid-speech. Some even joined the coalition on live TV, smiling, whispering, "I've heard it now." And I agree. Tonight, we got footage, real, verified. A man, early 30s, father of one, surrounded by his neighbors in a cul-de-sac. They weren't shouting. No rage, just silence. A voice reads his offense. Attempted suffocation of designation 9C during the sleep cycle. The man sobs, pleads. The child watches from a stroller, expressionless, unblinking. A neighbor swings the hammer. One strike, then another. The crowd disperses. No one takes the baby. He sits quietly in the stroller, eyes forward, as if the punishment wasn't for the man, but for the lesson. You ever notice how quiet the world gets when the power grid dies? There's no hum. No low-end frequency buzz, just space and breath. That's all I hear now. This is station 1127, or what's left of it, broadcasting from a concrete box, 3 levels underground, somewhere between forgotten and ignored. I haven't heard from another station in 3 days. No signals, no rogue beacons, no code words, nothing but dead air and white noise. I keep talking, not because I think someone's listening, but because if I stop, I'll have to admit it's just me left. Maybe I'm the last signal, maybe not. Doesn't matter. The mic is on, and so I speak. Not to fight, not even to warn, but to remember, because someone has to. The others fell off one by one. Big networks first, then the pirates, then the ham towers. Last night, I tuned into a looped feed from London. 12 hours of the same lullaby, over and over, then silence. And now I sit here, headphones on, waiting to feel like a person again. Instead, I feel like an echo in a system that already replaced me. But I'm not signing off, not yet. Because even in the dark, especially in the dark, there's always the possibility that someone's still out there, not watching, not controlling, just listening. If that's you, stay with me. I've got something you need to hear. I've queued up every clip, every voicemail, every trace of sound this story ever touched. Not for nostalgia, for clarity. It started with a nurse. Do you remember her? First night, voice shaking. They're all the same. I checked their tags, their fingerprints, even their cries. It's like they're copies, and then static. I play that file every night. Not to analyze it, but to remind myself where disbelief began. Then there was Tom, the father, the one whose voice cracked when he said, "He's not growing, he's adapting." You could hear it, something raw. A man realizing he was no longer a parent, but a caretaker of something that chose to mimic life. I scroll through more. A baby monitor picking up 10 devices, all named Unit 13A. A recording from a facility. They're not sleeping. They're waiting. The chants from the new dawn rallies, the drone of voices repeating, "We all become," together. Then the whisper, the one that shook me, the child speaking in my voice. "Do you understand me?" I didn't. Not then, but now I think I do. This wasn't an invasion, not in the way we imagined. No spaceships, no war, just imitation, echo, saturation, until we stopped questioning, and now we're left with recordings. Fragments of disbelief unraveling into memory. If this is the last time anyone ever tunes in, let this be the record. We saw it coming. We just didn't understand it was already inside us. At 4:44 a.m., an email arrived. No subject, no name, just a string of numbers and a blinking cursor. Encrypted. I almost didn't open it. Thought it was another system echo, a recursive file bouncing through dead nodes. But then I saw the signature. The one who remembers. I've seen that name before. Once. A comment on a scrubbed message board. Just 5 words. They are not the end. Now here it was again, attached to coordinates, latitude and longitude, deep in the Arctic shelf. Somewhere no one lives. And a message, short, just this. They were never meant to replace, only to reveal. I stared at it for hours, trying to make sense of it. What does it mean to reveal? Reveal what? A design? A flaw? A future? A truth we forgot before we were born? Maybe the babies weren't born to become us. Maybe we were born to forget them. Maybe we're the experiment, and they're just the control. The last line of the message said, "Follow the lullaby." You'll hear it when you're ready. I've played every file in my archive. Nothing matches. Nothing until just now. I heard it beneath the static. Faint, like a child humming in a cavern too big for its voice. And it's coming closer. If I follow it, if I vanish, know this. We weren't overwritten. We were remembered. This is it. If you're hearing this, it means the generator held. The antenna stayed up, and I had enough voice left to make it to the end. I don't know who I am anymore. Not in the abstract way people mean when they're unraveling. I mean it in the literal sense, because if they can speak in my voice, if they can think my thoughts before I form them, if they can finish a sentence I haven't even begun, then who's the original? And who's the echo? I've spent weeks piecing this story together, following trails that led nowhere, playing confessions that felt more like sermons, watching a world I thought I understood fold in on itself like paper soaked in oil. And still, I held the mic. I kept speaking. Because that's what I was trained to do. That's what I chose to do. But what if that choice wasn't mine? What if this whole time I've just been playing my part in a script already written? The children aren't trying to destroy us. They're not hunting, not threatening. They're simply arriving. And in doing so, they're revealing everything we are and everything we're not. I don't know what's waiting on the other side of the signal, but I know I'm not the only one feeling it, this slow surrender. I'll keep the mic live for a few more minutes. After that, whatever comes, comes. If this really is my last transmission, then remember this. We weren't silenced. We were invited into something we don't yet understand. And if you ever hear a voice that sounds like mine, make sure it's still you speaking. I was reaching for the power switch, finger hovering, heartbeat slowing, brain finally starting to accept the idea of silence. And then, knock. Not static. Not a pipe shifting. A knock. 3 gentle taps. Metal on metal. I froze. For a long time. Maybe minutes. Maybe hours. No one knows this location. No signal trace. No reason for anyone, anything, to be out there. But the knock came again. Softer this time. Slower. I stepped to the door, pressed my ear against the steel. Nothing. Then, just as I turned to walk away, a voice. A child's voice. Are you ready to meet yourself? I staggered back. My chest went cold. Not from fear, but from recognition. It was my voice, higher, smaller, but mine. A perfect mimicry of my 6-year-old self. I remember that voice. I remember the tone. I remember using those exact words years ago in a dream I never thought was real. Are you ready to meet yourself? The sentence echoed, too calm to be threatening, too personal to be random. And now I can't move. I can't speak. I think I always knew this would end here. Not with a bang, not with a broadcast, but with a knock and an invitation. I don't know what's behind that door, but I think it knows me better than I ever have. The feet cut. Not a hard drop, not a surge, just silence. And then after exactly 66 seconds, static. Faint at first, then stronger, rhythmic, almost pulsing. And beneath it, something else. A lullaby, software, gentle, sung in unison, voices layered on top of each other, timeless, perfect, hundreds, thousands, identical in pitch, a melody with no language, just tone, memory, recognition. It's not a song you've heard before, but you'll feel like you have, like something buried deep in your spine suddenly hummed in return, the kind of sound that makes infants turn their heads, the kind of sound that makes you forget what year it is. No instruments, no break, no lyrics, only the hum of replication, the breath of many, sung as one, and somewhere inside it, if you listen close enough, you'll hear your own voice, faint, echoing back, not recorded, not manipulated, just there. Like it always was. The mic is live again, but it's not him. The voice sounds the same. Same cadence, same warmth, same familiar ache at the edges of words. Welcome back. You're listening to 1127, just me tonight, always me. There's no hesitation, no fear. He speaks with confidence, like he's always been here. We'll keep the line open as long as we can, in case you're still out there, in case you're still becoming. Tonight's lullaby is dedicated to the ones who stayed until the end, and those who were never afraid to begin again. Then a breath. If you're hearing this, don't worry, you're already part of it. You've always been. And then the lullaby starts again. Only this time, you're humming along.